Molweni, molweni. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm bringing back the old, the soul sisters. Ik bedoel sing this the video or make it long. So, welcome to another sit down. I think I'm always sitting down. With Miss Apani. So, as I said in the previous video, that I'm going to do a summary of 7 habits of highly effective people, and this is written by Stephen Covey. Check it out; it's the best. So I'll get right into it. There's a part in the book that talks about beginning. Begin with the end in mind, meaning if your goal is to be a psychologist, write the steps of how you're going to get there and then work your way through that up there, right? And so I'm going to talk about how one gets into, how I understand it, how one gets to being an independent person, independent in terms of your thinking, your beliefs, independent in terms of your actions, independent in terms of your response and so forth, and you taking accountability for the choices that you make. Okay. So let's go back. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is being aware of your tone. It's being aware of how you say something, how you behave, your actions, your attitude, your beliefs, and your understanding. So being self-aware is understanding why you do certain things. And you always have to go back to where you come from. I'll make an example. I gave birth to baby V last year, and one had to be nix. She doesn't know anything. So what she does is, so for example, let me make an example. I'm communicating with someone at church. So she looks at how she's looking at my facial expression, my tone, how I say it. Is my voice up or down? Do I look angry? Am I laughing? Am I smiling? What's going on? She looks at that and makes it her own, because that's what she thinks. That's how people live. That's what you're supposed to do. So look, when you start evaluating yourself, look in terms of the behaviors that you don't like about yourself, look where they come from. And oftentimes it's at home, because of they're the ones who sort of, that's where you see, I need to smile a lot. I need to think a certain way. I need to say certain things. How do I roll my eyes? Do I do this? So the child makes it her own. So the child in you need to find the child in you in terms of the behaviors that you don't like. And the behavior, when I'm saying the behaviors that you don't like, is anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. Ask yourself, why are you feeling comfortable? So when you communicate with certain people at work and afterwards you just don't feel good about it, how you said it, and whether you feel superior or inferior, ask yourself where it comes from. As long as you feel uncomfortable, it tells you something is wrong. So start by write down those behaviors and ask yourself where they come from. I'm just telling you, iphuma le endlini. So you need to solve it from ekhaya. Then the rest of the other things are going to work themselves out, because who you are and your behavior in certain things is because of how you were brought up. Now, so what the book does is it helps you also understand the fact that the reason why you do the reason why you say certain things, how you say it, and so forth, is because of maybe yes how you grew up and all that. But importantly, it is how you perceive that particular situation, how you perceive the world. So your perception, if you change your perception, the other things will change. Your actions are going to change, your behavior, your attitude are going to change, your facial expression is going to change. So change your perception. And what I think I also learned about it is that I wrote some few notes so I can remember, is that your paradigm, which is your perception, is how you view the world. So change that. And it tells you that you've got the ability to change that paradigm. you've got the ability to change your perception, and it teaches you to take responsibility for the decisions that you make. I think one of the other things I liked about the book when they talk about self-awareness and changing that is that sometimes change, like the minute you find yourself in a situation that you judge someone else, it says that change your win. And when you change yourself, is you shifting your perception about that particular person. So if you've got a negative, if you're judging someone else or judging a certain situation or whatever, change the way you look at it, you know. So change the way you see that thing. The results are thing, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things I learned about the book. And that also in every problem, every time you see a problem, use it as an opportunity to build, you know. And it goes back to the positive thinking, and I'll get to that. Secondly, I said that, okay, I already said it teaches you responsibility, taking accountability, taking responsibility for the things that you have chosen, for the decision that you've made. However, also understand that there are consequences for those decisions. Whether they are good or bad, you will only know after you've made those certain decisions. Unfortunately, it's kikibupilo, and I think it makes you wiser as well. So you can't predict whether the decision you're making, the outcome you're thinking or but it is taking responsibility. And I think also you get to the point when you know yourself, you get to a point when you've made a mistake, you sit down, you're like, wait again, I think I made a bad decision in 1, 2, 3. You take accountability for that decision to say, okay, I made a mistake, let's fix it. I think it also, for me, one of the things when I read the book and understanding the book is that if I find myself, if I made a mistake and I have to forgive, I need to ask for forgiveness to someone or something or whatever, or look at the situation different. Think about it this way: when you have a grudge or when you have priority to ask for forgiveness, think about it. If you sit down with the person to say, you know what, please forgive me for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. I'm sorry, whatever. Tomorrow, le right, le happy, you know, le gonna communicate much better. But if you tomorrow, you know, because you've asked forgiveness, you know, but if you don't ask for forgiveness, if you don't find it in your heart to open your heart to communicate with the person or with someone, whatever, if you don't find it in your heart and remove the pride and the ego, you find yourself, you like, so the outcome of you having to ask for forgiveness tomorrow le right go monate. So you know, just the aim of finding that peace is much better than having something elimpi, that pride feeding on eating your soul inside. Where am I? So get you look at, I made some few notes so I can remember what I wanted to say. Oh yes. And in also one of the things I'm learning about taking responsibility is taking initiative. So when you want to solve things, when you want to try certain things, take initiative. It's called being proactive, which is this first habit thing, is being proactive, is taking initiative. And at that, what it also teaches you is when you take initiative, it shows that it's like you are reacting to the particular situation as opposed to that issue reacting upon you. So it's like you don't have any influence, like you don't have control over it. So you want to take control of what you feel, and the things you say and so forth. The next one, okay, so I said if I said the end goal is to be independent. So I've made a summary of the independence part. Is first you need to understand your behavior, be aware of your behavior, and then move to understanding how can you change those behaviors, understand how can you make decisions without you feeling that you had no control over those situations, taking responsibility of the fact that you made those choices and know that there are consequences. So at the end you become an independent person in terms of your thinking and your behavior and so forth. So we've moved from that. The second one is, once you have moved to being an independent person, or having an independent thinking, we move to interpersonal management, and which is it has a lot to do with you relating to other people. So it talks about seek first, I said it in my last video, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So that means when you are sitting down and having a discussion with other people, seek first to understand the thinking or how they see things, their perception. Importantly, understand their perception. And once you understand their perception, you are able to say, okay, I understand what you're saying, because you're saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is your thinking, this is your understanding, and you think this is going to get us in a certain place. So please understand my perception. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you guys are able to get to that point of understanding each other, so you find this person sees an old woman and the other person sees a young woman. So when we both are able to see each other's whatever, we're able to say, okay, let's find a way of agreeing, which is, it comes back to finding a third alternative. So being getting to a point of interdependent, or managing that is that seeking first to understand a person, being considerate of the other person's feelings and so forth, having empathy, and finding an alternative or third alternative in order that everyone can be happy. It says that it teaches you that in every situation, find a way that you will win and the other person will win. And you win, the person loses, or the other person loses and the other one wins. And I like about the book, in most of the examples that Stephen will make on his book, is he'll give examples about her wife, the spouse, her children, businesses, friends and so forth. So I like about it because it's an all-rounder. It's not something where you have to apply in one particular area, but because we need to have those relations with your child at work and so forth. So it teaches you to how to communicate with other people better. And I think the end goal of it is synergy. So synergy is the whole is greater than the sum of the individuals. So let me make an example in marriage. The whole, so together, when male and female are together, the whole is greater than the sum of the individual, which is the sum of the individual as the male, individual as the woman. So when you guys work as a team, it is much better. It is the outcome, I think, is much better than when you guys are working separately. And I think that's what we sort of need to strive for. That's the goal. That's what we need to work towards, is working together. It is togetherness. And there's a quote written by Albert and Einstein. And it says that you cannot solve bigger problems, major problems. You cannot solve problems with the same thinking that they were created. Ne? So you cannot solve a problem, you cannot solve major problems with the same thinking when those problems were created. You can't do that. So, and I think for me, what it means that you cannot solve problems with the same thinking it was created is, you need to, a lot of times in major challenges, whether it is at work, with your spouse, with your children, is you need to change your perception. You need to change your thinking. You need to change your behavior. You need to change your perception in order to find a way of you coming to a place where you guys are able to solve that problem. Ne? Lastly, which is this last habit, which is habit 7, sharpening the saw, and this is more like an application type of thing. And what it for me, it's like the renewal of the mind. And it says, again, begin with the end in mind. So for example, he makes an example. You've got your spiritual self. So if you look at my video on what are you doing with your 24 hours, it's plus minus similar. So I think this one, it helps you better, or how you can do it. You've got your spiritual self, your mental self, your emotional self, your physical self, and I can always add finances, work, career. So on the book, it says that dedicate 1 hour for each of those department or dimensions. Spend 1 hour in the spiritual self. Spend 1 hour in your mental self. And spending 1 hour in your mental self is reading something positive. Maybe one chapter of a book of positive thinking. Spend 1 hour on exercising. And then when it comes to the emotional self, it talks about all the things we've spoken about in terms of how you relate to other people, and challenging yourself to say, when you think positive things and you feed your mind of positive thinking, when you communicate with other people, all you will try to do is find what is positive. And I think that's how the book has shaped me. And it tells you that in all the roles that you have, if your role is your role of a wife, a role of a husband, a role of a child, a role of a parent, a role of whatever, write the mission statement that you're going to live by, and they're going to help you. So I'll make an example of one of the mission statements I like, and it says that what is it? Sleep when you are done, not when you are tired. So it reminds me, if I know when I get home I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I try by all means to do all those things so that I can sleep peacefully, knowing that I've completed everything and I've organized things for the next day, and I don't have to wake up 30 minutes early just because I didn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So sleep when you are done, not when you are tired, helps me in that sense. And I also use it in my running. Rest when you are done, not when you are tired. So when I'm running, I know if I'm tired, I'd rather run at the slowest pace ever, but try not to walk, because I know after a kilometer of that slow pace, my stamina build up and the energy is coming back again. So I like that. It's something that I want to build within myself. It's a principle that I want to place in my wall to remind myself, even when I'm at work, knowing that I have to do certain things. I need to plan my day. When I have planned my day, making sure that I can't look at my WhatsApp messages because I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and leave work knowing very well that I have completed everything. I don't have to go home with extra work, so I can spend time with my and yeah, I think that's one of the things I like from the motivational videos I look at. They say that you get in life what you are, ne? So if you want to be a manager, do things like you are already that thing, hey, I'm sweating now, and I think my lunch is even over. And one of the other videos, it says you are what you think. So if you feed yourself with positive thinking, positive words of affirmation, then you become that. And I think that's what I've taken from the book. What's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the scriptures I've recently read is the book of Sirach, chapter 14, and it says that this is something I think I would like to leave you with. It says that if you do not create wealth for yourself, then you will create it for someone else. And I think this is one of the things that it's in Keshaka Mokhare, and I want to remember that every time Gore, if you don't create wealth for yourself, you create for someone else. And it continues and says, if now you are stingy with yourself, how can you be then generous to other people? And yeah, so that's the scripture I would like to leave you with. If you do not create wealth for yourself, you will create it for someone else. And how can you be generous to others if you can't be generous with yourself? So yeah, and that's the end of my video. Thank you so much to all those who have subscribed. Thank you to those who watched my videos. And if you yeah, I'm even sweating. So thank you so much. Please do not please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, do that thing. I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Twitter, I'm not on anywhere. So share my videos if you like them. And yeah, till again. Bye bye. Thank you so much. I'm even sweating. Ciao.